What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the top 5 cards from Shining Revelry. This new set in TCG Pocket has had a massive impact on the competitive scene, and today we're going to go over the 5 cards that really define this set. Before we jump into this, don't forget to leave a like on this video, comment down below what you think the best card from Shining Revelry is, and then hit that subscribe button, as it really does help us grow this channel. So jumping into this, with number 5, we have the new Meowscarada. This is a stage 2 grass type Pokemon with 140 HP, and the Fighting Claws attack for 2 grass energy. It does 60 damage plus 70 more damage if your opponent's active Pokemon is a Pokemon EX. So doing 130 damage to EX is really strong, especially against things like Giratina, which has 150 HP, and once it attacks, it does 20 damage to itself, so it has 130 HP left. Meowscarada can one-shot it. Even if you can't one-shot an EX with 130 damage, we do have the new red supporter card as well to get us over that hump and get the Meowscarada's damage up to 150. So just a really efficient one-prize attacker that can do big damage to our opponent's EXs. This is just an example deck list of what's been doing well online recently. There's other versions of the deck that uses the Carnivine and Arceus from the Triumphant Light set. And the Carnivine can go in early, attack for a good amount of damage while you set up the Meowscarada. This version of the deck is also playing the Beedrill EX, which we'll go over later in the video, but that is also a interesting new Stage 2 EX from the Shining Revelry set. So altogether, the Meowscarada is just a really efficient attacker. Whatever deck you decide to put it in, whether it's with Beedrill or with Arceus or some other form, just a very strong attacker in TCG Pocket, coming in here at number 5 on the top 5 cards from Shining Revelry. Jumping into number 4, we have Pokemon Center Lady, and this card is just another addition to the vast amount of healing cards we have in the game. We have Erica for grass types, Irida for Pokemon with water energies attached, and we have potions, and we have Shaman, and we have the new Wigglytuff that can heal with its ability. So there's just a lot of healing in the game right now. Pokemon Center Lady, just another addition to that, just generally healing 30 damage from one of your Pokemon, and it also recovers from all special conditions. Special conditions aren't that huge in the competitive scene of TCG Pocket right now. Back in the day when Weezing was huge, maybe Pokemon Center Lady would have been seeing even more play, but as it is, this card does see a lot of play in especially Giratina decks. Giratina decks tend to have a lot of space for trainer cards because they play very few Pokemon. So you can play additional healing cards in those Giratina decks, and the Pokemon Center Lady slots in right there very well. You can also play this in like tanky decks, so tank and heal decks, like perhaps you're building a Venusaur EX deck. You have Ericas to heal, potions to heal. The Venusaur EX's attack heals itself, but the Pokemon Center Lady could give you additional healing in that sort of deck. Venusaur EX, not the best example of a very good card right now, but just another example of how you could use Pokemon Center Lady for like a tank and heal strategy. You could also do this with the Executor EX. Executor EX has Ericas and Shamans and potions to heal, and you could slot in some Pokemon Center Ladies just for some additional healing in that sort of deck as well. And for that reason, Pokemon Center Lady is seeing a good amount of play in a lot of different decks in the format right now, and it comes in at number 4 here in our top 5 list of the cards from Shining Revelry. Moving on to some of our honorable mentions. We mentioned the Beedrill EX already, but the Beedrill EX is a Stage 2 Grass-type EX Pokemon with 170 HP, and the Crushing Spear attack for 2 Grass Energy does 80 damage, and you discard a random energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. And just that additional effect on the attack can be really annoying for your opponents, but you combine that with the Team Rocket Grunt, which we'll go over next, and it can be even more annoying. But I have these on the page as honorable mentions, but they're not honorable mentions together. Just individually, they're honorable mentions. But in combination, they're also good. So the Beedrill is an honorable mention. Obviously, it can slot into Meowscarada decks. It can be built as its own deck as well. And you could do some more sort of disruption things to your opponents with the discarding of energy and other things that you could build into that deck as well. But Beedrill EX coming in as an honorable mention, not quite in the top 5, but a good EX nonetheless. Then we also have the Team Rocket Grunt supporter card. Flip a coin until you get tails for each heads. Discard a random energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. Some people will say, why is this not the best card in the set? This is crazy. There's a lot of reasons this isn't the best card in the set. One, I didn't want to give it the best card in the set because it's not. There's obviously a number 1 card in the set, and it's not Team Rocket Grunt. But I also just don't think this is great game design, so I just don't want to give it that honorific of being in the top 5 either. I just don't think this is good game design. I hope we see TCG Pocket move away from these flip a coin, discard energy, gain energy sort of effects. I think Misty needs to be rebalanced. I think Team Rocket Grunt needs to be rebalanced for the game to be in a really good competitive state. But it's obviously a very strong card. You can come back in games that you just have no business winning. Your opponent has a big Pokemon EX in the active with 4 energies on it. You can play this card with no other way to win other than to flip like 3 or 4 tails, or 3 or 4 heads, and you can win. So for that reason, it lands in the honorable mentions. It can bring you back in games you have no business winning because you just flip multiple heads. But I don't think that's good game design. You also can't rely on it. So it's not a good card necessarily for that reason, is that it's just not super reliable to bring you back in games because usually you have to flip multiple heads for it to be all that effective. If you just flip one heads and your opponent was already powered up, they just attach for turn and they're ready to go again, right? So it's not that reliable of a comeback card, but it's a big swing in the game, obviously, when you do get multiple heads. And for that reason, it's coming in as an honorable mention. Coming in at number 3, we have the red supporter card. This says during this turn, attacks used by your Pokemon do plus 20 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon EX. This card is really important for a lot of different reasons. It just fixes a lot of math for different Pokemon EX that are big attackers in the format right now. Giratina EX has 150 HP but does 130 damage. So it can't OHKO opposing Giratina EXs. It can't OHKO opposing Arceuses. Can't OHKO opposing Darkrai, those sorts of things. And but when you play red, you do hit that 150 number, and it helps you get above that 150 HP threshold that a lot of decks need to hit for those one-hit KOs. Helps Arceus EX as well. Obviously, Arceus EX hits for 130 as well, as long as they have a full bench. So red gets you to that important 150 number. And then Meowscarada as well does 130 damage to EXs. Red helps you get to that 150 important HP threshold or damage threshold, and for that reason it's coming in here at number 3. There's a lot more decks that are playing red than just the 3 I've chosen to show here, but you can just see that red fixes a lot of math for different decks who are just shy of one-shotting a lot of these basic EXs, and red helps them get there. So definitely an important card that we're seeing in a ton of different lists in TCG Pocket right now. Coming in at number 2, we have Iono. Iono is coming in here at number 2 just because it is a card that basically every deck wants to play. It is just another draw supporter. We only have one draw supporter in the game other than Iono. That's Professor's Research. That was the only draw supporter we had for a long time until we got Iono in Shining Revelry, and this card is huge for the game. Just having additional draw power means your deck is more consistent. Iono says each player shuffles the cards in their hand into their deck, then draws that many cards. And yeah, just a great consistency supporter. Basically, every deck is playing at least one Iono at this point. Some of them are even playing 2. And just having that additional draw power in the game is really important for the consistency of a lot of decks. And interestingly enough, I mean, I think this helps Stage 2 decks a lot. We talk about how Stage 2 decks have a tough time setting up because there's no great evolution search in the game. So Iono just being extra draw support to help you draw into those evolutions to help your Stage 2 decks is really important. But it's not just good for Stage 2s. It specifically helps Stage 2 decks because there's not a lot of great ways to set up Stage 2s, but this helps every deck be more consistent and have more draw power. So for that reason, Iono is coming in at number 2. And to nobody's surprise, Giratina EX is coming in at number 1. This card has defined the Shining Revelry format. Giratina EX, 150 HP Psychic type Pokemon with the Broken Space Bellow ability that says once during your turn, you may take a Psychic energy from your energy zone and attach it to this Pokemon. If you use this ability, your turn ends. And then the Chaotic Impact attack for 130 damage. This Pokemon also does 20 damage to itself. So this guy just powers himself up, and you basically play Giratina EX as its own deck with very few Pokemon in it. A lot of decks are playing like 2 Giratinas, 1 Mewtwo, 2 Giratinas, 2 Darkrai's, sometimes 2 Giratinas, 2 Darkrai's, and 2 Druddigons. But for the most part, very low amount of Pokemon in the deck, and so you can play a ton of trainers, a ton of tools, giant capes to give you more HP, Rocky Helmet to do damage back to your opponents, potions and Pokemon Center Ladies to heal, Cyrus and Sabrina to gust up your opponent's Pokemon on the bench that you want to target down. And then obviously you can use the Darkrai EX Nightmare Aura ability to increase the amount of damage you're putting out, because you can attach return onto the Darkrai, do 20 damage to your opponent's active, and then use Chaotic Impact for 130. Just great combinations that you can do with this card. And it has just completely defined the Shining Revelry meta. Giratina Darkrai is basically winning. Giratina Darkrai, excuse me, Giratina Darkrai or Giratina Mewtwo is winning nearly every big online tournament. So this deck is very, very powerful. And we'll see if they print something in the next set to sort of counter it. I think that would probably be good. This deck is very dominant right now. They tend to try to print new cards that kind of counter some of the old strategies from previous sets. Obviously, we've seen Arceus was kind of like the main thing from the Triumphant Light meta, but now with Giratina out, Arceus has really kind of fallen off. And so yeah, we'll see if they print something to counter Giratina EX in the next set. But because it's dominating the Shining Revelry meta, it comes in here at number 1. Let me know down below what your top 5 cards are from Shining Revelry. Let me know how you think things are going with the ranked mode in TCG Pocket. Leave a like on this video. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and we'll see you guys in the next video.